And at the time, we called it kind bud, dank, nuggets. That was sort of like the slang for like not Mexican, better than that. Really, the only two places I knew how to get it was if you had to fly to Europe or you went to a Dead show. I mean, literally going to a Grateful Dead show and wandering around the parking lot and using your nose was the premier way. It's not like this anymore, obviously, because times have changed and its access is spread out all over. But there was a point in time when it was like hippies had this rare thing. Was it only hippies? No. But did hippies have like the only like public thing that you could attend and like meet someone you didn't know in a lot or walking up and down the parking lot and like make an arrangement? Pretty much.
Well, you know what it was? So when the Grateful Dead were not in town, even living in California, it
Mm-hmm.
was way harder to sell weed. Like, you know, I hate to mention this person, but like I met Jason in the Panhandle,
I remember,
right?
yeah.
And if he hadn't bought my herb, I was fucked. I really was. Like I was like considering moving back east, right? And so like he bought my herb, paid my rent, and then he like basically bought it moving forward all the time. But like when the Dead were in town, I didn't need to sell my weed to Jason. Like
Yeah.
everybody wanted, there was like an influx of a million. And you know what? Even like the people that like weren't big chiefers that didn't want to like, smoke every day, 10 joints like we did. There were people that were like, hey, I'm at a Grateful Dead show. I want some weed.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to be at a Grateful Dead show, I need to have some weed. So the Grateful Dead was always a great place to sell substances like that.
Yeah,
Like today we have dispensaries.
it
So
was it was kind of the only, I mean, actually the only other place in America I knew of that you could reliably, and it was the same because it was because of hippies. The only other place I knew reliably where you could go to get weed was like if I went to San Francisco to do something else, I could go to Haight Street when
that's
Jerry was
shady as
still
fuck.
around. It was shady as fuck, but you could find some dready hippie that was going to sell you. We used to call them haiths because it was supposed to be an eighth, but it was always light because they would pull some out of each one in order to. It's like they would get 9 or 10 eighths out of eight, type of thing.
Yeah, that's what I used to.
So, but you could go on Haight Street. Now Haight Street is like, $400 like designer jeans and this and that and everything else. But when in the 90s when Jerry was still around, it was like the meeting place. Like if you were coming out of town and you wanted to meet your fucking hippie buddy that you only knew his tour name, you would just, okay, I'll be on Haight Street around 2. Just walk up and down till you see me, you
There's
know?
some people that lived up in the hills of Mendocino and Humboldt County that the only time they left the hill was when Jerry was playing.
Yeah, they would come down or they would come down for Dead shows.